Hey, Wedgwood family, Dale Braswell, lead pastor here. In light of all the continuing developments regarding COVID-19, we've been encouraged to continue to stay at home, shelter in place, practice social distancing, and it doesn't look like this is going to end anytime soon. And so in light of that, wanted to address a few important updates for the life and the ministry of our church. The first one involves our community needs, as far as needs maybe within our church body or needs maybe within people, friends or neighbors that you may know. And so what we'd like to encourage our folks to do is that if you have a need or you know somebody in need, see if your missional community can address that particular situation on its own. If you can't, if that need is beyond the scope of your missional community, just email Aaron at wedgwoodbc.org, and Aaron would then be able to connect you to a greater body of folks that have volunteered to help out with some other needs within our community. If you'd like to be added to his resource list of folks that are available and willing to help out in some needs here in our community through this whole situation, again, just email Aaron and he will gladly put you on a list of people to contact. The next thing is regarding just the generosity of our people here at Wedgwood. I've been just blown away by the incredible faithfulness and generosity of our folks here within our church community. Many of you have had to totally change the way in which you give. Many of you used to give just corporately in our Sunday worship gathering, but we've seen so many people change what are probably habits of over several years to begin to give online or to give through the mail. And so we want to thank you for your generosity and remind you that you can now still give online. Just go to wedgwoodbc.org/give, and there's all kinds of instructions on how you can give online or by text or just by mailing your contribution into the church. The third area is regarding Easter. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to gather corporately for our Easter services. So what we want to do, instead of just kind of going through life as normal the week of Easter, is we want to try to initiate some type of community, not by being able to gather together, but through shared experiences. And so beginning this Sunday night, we're going to continue to launch a series of videos and resources that will help us to do some of the same things throughout Easter week leading into Easter Sunday that I think will help to shape us together as a church community as we experience community by doing some of the same things together, although we are scattered apart all over really the city and the county. And then finally, I want to encourage you tomorrow night, Tuesday night, March 31st, we're going to be dropping a very special video from our own Dr. Dan Crawford. Dr. Crawford is a retired professor over at Southwestern Seminary, and Dan has recorded an incredible sermon that I think you're going to find very, very appropriate and encouraging for this time and the life that we find ourselves in today. And so, as you go throughout this week, let me encourage you to consider continuing to think about a certain passage of Scripture that I've been meditating on. In Galatians chapter 6, Paul talks about this idea of sowing to the Spirit and not growing weary in doing good. And as I've been reflecting on that passage, I think there's a lot of application for our season that we find ourselves in right now. Many of you are already growing weary. You're growing weary of the situation that this virus has caused, the upheaval in our daily lives. And let me encourage you to take Paul's advice there. Don't give up. Don't grow weary. Continue to persevere through this season. And we know that we're going to trust God's faithfulness, that we're going to come out on the other side. But let me encourage you that while you're not growing weary, while you're persevering, to be sowing to the Spirit. In other words, use this as an opportunity to create and develop new habits that can glorify God and help you grow and mature in your faith, whether that be spending more time seeking after God through His Word and through prayer, or maybe doing more family devotionals and maybe family activities together, or looking for opportunities to reach out to those in need around you. And my hope in all of this is that as we come through this, we're going to find that God has been growing and working in us individually, and then it'll be an incredible time to rejoice together collectively as we see the fruit that God has borne in our lives through this whole situation. So let me encourage you, continue to be asking God, what are you saying to me in all this? What do I need to change? How do I need to act differently, live differently in light of what you're saying to me? So continue to pray for each other, to be praying for our church body, to be praying for our community through this. Continue to check in on each other, reach out to one another, and know that we as a staff and leadership here at Wedgwood are praying for you as well. We look forward to connecting with you online and seeing you online in the days ahead.